I opened up the December 31st edition of the very first This Day in Weather History Year in Review 2-day special with the blizzard. The blizzard. What blizzard? The blizzard of St. John's, Newfoundland. Ooh, it was intense. Heck, even Chris Murphy was there. You gotta remember that. Hi, I'm Chris May, host of This Day in Weather History, a podcast from the Weather Network in Canada. On Friday, January 17th, a new all-time daily snowfall record was reported in St. John's after 76.2 centimeters fell, shattering the previous record of 68.4 that took place on April 5th of 1999. Ooh, it didn't stop there. No, sir. Not on this day in weather history. It was epic. It was intense. It didn't stop. The storm paralyzed much of the province, prompting states of emergency in many communities and causing widespread travel issues and power outages. The storm even triggered an avalanche in the Battery area of St. John's on the Friday evening, damaging one home. Thankfully, no one was injured. The snow just wouldn't stop. It kept right on going, right through the weekend. With that, the in-town totals exceeded 90 centimeters. It was speculated at that time that the St. John's Airport had in fact experienced its snowiest January on record, with 166 centimeters recorded to that point. Other outstanding totals were recorded in other communities, including Mount Pearl and Paradise, where more than 100 centimeters of snow piled up with this storm. Meteorologist Chris Murphy was there to cover the whole thing, and he got a face full of what he commented was the worst winter storm he'd personally ever endured while standing outside in it, reporting for the Weather Network. Let's go back right now to that night with Murph from St. John's.
It feels like the skin on my face is peeling clean off, Kim. Let me just show you something here. By the way, there's a car under there. Somebody's going to be late for dinner tonight, to be short. Look at the visibility. Look at these. I mean, this is just absolutely... I've never felt anything like this. You know, mind you, I said, I put my hand up. I volunteered to come here, so I'm out here. But I am out here, as Kim said, so you don't have to be, because... First of all, there's states of emergency all up and down all over the Avalon Peninsula and getting up to the Bonavista. Vista. 165 kilometer an hour gusts up in the northeastern sections of Newfoundland. I mean, now we're talking about damaging winds. And here's the worst part. If you lose power, there's nobody going to be able to help you tonight and perhaps not tomorrow. So you really have to hunker down for a few days. And I hope that message was got across in the last few days, that we had to take this one serious. I mean, Kim, you know what? St. John's and blizzards go together like salt and pepper, but this one here is definitely memorable. Even the battle hardened have been telling me, they've been saying, Murph, this one here, I'll remember this one for a long time.
Wow.
And I know I'll remember this one for the rest of my life. This is worse than Dorian, in my opinion, and I was there in Nova Scotia. So, you know, if I show up in your town, that's usually bad news, because this one's looking like an historic event, too.
The state of emergency that Chris spoke of continued in St. John's for a fourth day on the Monday, and that is what hit the town the hardest. It meant that businesses could not open and cars are not allowed on the roads. I think the irony of this is not lost on any of us. Is it 2020? Anywho, all schools on the Avalon Peninsula were closed on the Monday, along with most across the Bonavista Peninsula as well. Now, we all remember this. On Sunday, January 19th, CBC reported that the Canadian Armed Forces will be sending 150 to 200 troops to Newfoundland by the end of the day, and that could increase to as much as 300 by the Monday. This day in weather history. Tomorrow is January 18th. The Heartland Covered Bridge in New Brunswick is the world's longest covered bridge at 1,282 feet, 391 meters long. It crosses the St. John River from Heartland to Somerville. What do you think happens when this monster suffers high winds and driving snow? Yikes. Tomorrow's episode is another that will be accompanied by a podcast video shot right here in my podcast recording studio. You can see it on television on the Weather Network or by going to our website at theweathernetwork.com and clicking on the podcast button right there on the right side of your homepage. Tomorrow's video will have a lot of visual evidence from this event, but this podcast will have the whole story. So check out both. This Day in Weather History with me, your host, Chris May.